Hello, I'm Eran Solomon, and today I want to talk about how it all began, as it were the Jewish Big Bang. According to Harizal, who is the greatest authority in Kabbalah, in his greatest oeuvre, in his greatest work about the unfolding of the worlds, a book called The Tree of Life, Etz Chaim, he says the following. Know that before everything was created, there was sublime, simple light filling all existence, and there was no vacant place in the form of empty air or space, but all was filled with that infinite, simple light. And to it there was no beginning nor end, but everything was one simple light, equal in all equality, which we call the light of infinity, or Ein Sof. For us, who are so much immersed in matter, it's quite difficult to imagine that. For us to believe that there is anything else but us, anything else but matter, is quite an effort. But it's actually quite the contrary. As Harambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, says in his Yad Chazakah, in his strong hand, imagining Hashem without the world or the worlds is quite possible. But imagining the worlds without Hashem is totally impossible. Hashem, and only Hashem, is obligatory in his existence. Anything else is quite a chidush. There is a kind of Hasidic joke about what's the difference between a Hasid and a misnaged, a Litvak. That though they were in early times great enemies, great adversaries, we know today that both Hasidic and Litvak Jews are very, very religious, with strong beliefs. But this joke says that for a Litvak, it's a lifetime struggle to convince the world that there is Hashem in the world. And a Litvak is ready to give his life for proving the greatest chidush, that there is Hashem somewhere in the world. Hashem is there and He's watching us. But for a Chassid, the greatest chidush, the greatest enigma, is that there is a world, because indeed only Hashem and His existence are obligatory, are without any doubt. It is very hard to grasp how it is that apart from Hashem we exist. So that is quite similar to what we learn here, that at the beginning of everything, there was only Him forever and ever, and there will be only Him, and our existence is quite a novelty. And indeed, in the writings of Harizal in the Etz Chaim, it is said that at a certain stage Hashem decided to have a world. And we have already talked about the wish of someone who is good to give good to others, and the necessity for the creation of a world to which Hashem could do good to. So when that will arose in him, it is written there that Hashem, as it were, gave place to something else other than him. He, as it were, contracted, he pulled his light out from a certain place inside himself, and that's what we call in Kabbalah the tzimtzum, the contraction, where the light, the infinite light, gave place and withdrew outward, so that in the middle there was a round space created, and in that space, which is called Halal HaTzimtzum, the space of contraction, all the worlds and all the creatures were created. Now this picture of infinite light in all directions to infinity And somewhere in the middle of all this, a little sphere vacant from infinite light, that is the reason why Hashem is called Hamakom. One of his name is the place. Because indeed, he is the place, he gave place for everything. Our sages say, Chazal say, that Hashem is the place for the world, but his world is not his place. Because indeed, that view that Hashem is inside the world somewhere, like the Litvaks believe, it's quite the contrary. It's not Hashem who is inside the world, it's the world which is inside Hashem, inside that infinite light. By the way, the word light in Hebrew, in its numerical value, is exactly the numerical number of the word Ein Sof, 207. Because indeed in the world of matter there is nothing more spiritual than light. So all light is basically derived from infinity. And that's an interesting notion to think about. It's like a reminder of infinity, of Ein Sof Baruch Hu. May he be blessed. So we're really at the beginning, but even now there is quite a lot to think about, quite a lot to change in our minds, that the world does not contain Hashem, but is contained by Hashem, and is surrounded by Hashem, and its existence, the world's existence, is quite a novelty, is something which is almost beyond grasp, if we really go down to the truth of matters. So, now we have a place for all the worlds to be created in, and in our next lesson I want to talk about that unfolding, the beginning of the unfolding of the worlds after the Tzimtzum. So stay with us in a guide to the depths of the Torah in our next lesson. So bye for now.